What's up, tubers? T.O. here, Simplistic Fishing. Back at you tonight to continue our lake breakdown series of J.B. Thomas Reservoir. You guys saw the Google Earth video. If you missed it, just go back and look at that lake breakdown playlist. But this time tonight, we're going offshore. We're going to see what type of offshore options we have on this lake, what kind of structure we have, humps, ledges, all that good stuff. Let's see what we found. Let's go. Before we jump into the lake breakdown and show you guys the offshore hotspots for J.B. Thomas, just want to remind you, you can always go out to simplisticfishing.com, search for the lake for J.B. Thomas, and you'll find it here. And you can pick either the digital file, which I'll email you the files that you need to put on an SD card and import into your graph, or you can select the SD card option, and I will email you the card with all the files on it. All you got to do is just put it in your graph and do the import process. Not only do we have the lake, though, for J.B. Thomas, but we have about 120 other lakes that are out here. So if you're interested, just go out here, click waypoints. You can find all the lakes sorted by state. In this case, Texas lakes, we have the most because that is my home state. And you will see here that we have nearly 100 lakes across Texas for you guys to choose from. Make sure to go check it out, simplisticfishing.com. Let's go check out J.B. Thomas. Here we are out on the Navionics mobile app, and I just wanted to go through and show you the offshore hotspots that we have picked out here for J.B. Thomas Reservoir. So there's some pretty good stuff here. Let's start here at the dam, and we'll work our way up, and then we'll come back around from the southwestern side and come back towards the east. So down here by the dam, first thing, obviously, you know, the dams are always good. There's always riprap, rocks. It's the deepest part of the lake, all that good stuff. You guys know those are always good hot spots. And anytime you're fishing the dams, really pay attention to these creek channels that are coming in, like right here where you see the creek channel coming in, and then also right up here where you see the creek bed coming in. Sometimes those can be really good hotbeds on the dam for you to check out, places where you could actually just sit there on the dam and fish one spot. And then as we move up here, we get on more of the northern side, some pretty good stuff. Obviously, you want to be careful in this lake when we go, when we looked at it from the Google Earth side. Hopefully you guys saw that, but there's tons of timber and stuff like that. So you need to be very careful navigating this lake, but there's some good stuff in here. And we look up here on this first little corner here, you've got flooded timber coming off here. You've got a really good point. You can tell it's got a really nice shallow top to it. Got a really good break here. You've also got a nice little cut in right here that they could hang out in. So some really good stuff just right in this little area to go check out from an offshore spot. Also up here, if you follow this creek bed down, obviously you've got a little type of a ledge or something like that going on right here off the edge of this little point. So anywhere on this side of the point's probably going to be a pretty good area to go find some. Now you've got lots of different cut-ins and stuff like that. So there's several different places you could find fish probably offshore on this lake. So I'm not gonna be able to cover them all, but I'll try to hit the majority of them for you. And some of them I'll point out that we didn't mark, like here, you know, you may want to check right here where this little point comes out right here. That could be a nice little spot. Also right here, this is a kind of 2 points coming off here. This one's really obvious. So more people are gonna hit more of this, but they could be more up here, right here off that little shorter ledge that you see right there in that area. Then I'm going to keep moving up. Come kind of show you guys where I'm at. We're right there in the corner. Now we're going to go up right around in this area. I'm going to pull this back a little bit. Let's take a look at this one first. This is obviously a really good spot. It looks like a really good spot, probably a community area for this lake just because of the way that it sets up, and it's pretty obvious to the eye. But if not, or even if so, if it is a community spot, it's a community spot for a reason. That means there's good fish there. But check out this point. Real good flat top on the point and some really good contours breaking off from that. So basically it goes from 9 foot all the way down to 38 feet. I mean, it has a really good ledge there. It's probably washed out from that river channel swinging around there. So there could be brush and rocks and all kinds of good stuff in there. That is going to be a really high percentage area to go look. Now also as we move up in here, we get up into this cove. Again, lots of good spots that you could go check out, like right in here. You see this little island that's here. It's got a good break. You've got a good turn right here in the creek channel. So some good stuff to look at. But the things that really that jumped out to me really up in here was where that creek channel came up and actually touched something. So if it was a creek channel swing and it came across a point, to me, that's going to be your higher percentage area. So right in here would be a really high percentage area where we have it marked. And then also as you move a little bit further up, you can almost see it better when I don't zoom it out, but here's the creek channel coming down, and here's your little creek channel swing right here. So they could be out here off the ledge, or they could be up here too, right where this little point comes out. So definitely some good spots to go look at. Now, right now, I think the water's down quite a bit, so getting up in here, that might be dry land right now, but at full pool, those would definitely be in play. All right, so let's keep moving up. Let's see what else we have over here. So as we come out across the main lake, kind of came out of that cove, really like this spot right here. Looks like you may have a little bit of a ledge, but it really just a really nice little point that comes out right here that kind of comes out. It's the last point before you get into the main lake, coming out of these little bays or whatever you want to call it that's up in here. Now, as you're up here too, obviously we got flooded timber, so you got to be careful, but maybe take a look right here around the island, the outside of this island where you have these really good breaks. That has some potential as well. And then moving on up, we're going to get on up here. It's going to start getting shallower as we move up, but you've got some pretty good spots here too. You've got this little island you could fish around as well. For whatever reason, fish just love the islands. But I really like this one over here because if you look at the backside of it, it's got a creek bed that's coming through the backside, and then it's got a river channel coming over the front side. So to me, this is going to be your more high percentage island between the two of them that you're going to want to fish. All right, so as we go up here, not much from an offshore standpoint as we go up that bank line, but as we pull back around, start coming back down this side, we come out here, and here you can see we've got four different islands that are out here as well. And, you know, if it was up to me and I just had to pick between one of the four, obviously I'm going to go with this one in the upper right-hand quadrant because it actually has the creek bed or the river bed that swings and touches the front of it right here. So I can see this being a really good area to go fish. Lots of timber in this area, so be careful. And then as we move on down, we come around here, we're kind of looking at spots. There's a couple things in here that I would definitely check out. I didn't have them marked, but I'd be looking right in here. Anywhere where it gets close to the, close to the points or close to the bank lines, I'm going to look in there. And I'd probably come up here as well and just check out maybe these docks right in here. Maybe just that little handful of docks because that swings up. There could be a lot of bait in there and stuff like that. That just could be one of those spots that maybe a lot of people wouldn't look at, but could be a higher percentage area, especially considering the river channel swings right there as well. So didn't mark it, but again, if you're watching the video, hopefully you can go out and check that out. Let me know if it worked for you. So also coming down here, I think we talked about this one, or maybe we didn't, but you kind of have a little bit of a point here that comes out and touches this, and it actually forces it enough to come out here. So what you could have here, some rocky bluffs, a rock wall, something like that. So you may want to look right there in that area as well. All right, so let's keep going down. Let's see what else we can find. As we follow that river channel down, again, anywhere that thing touches, that's a high percentage area. So this side of the island right here, and then the inside of the island right here actually looks like it may even have like a little pond. Yeah, it even has a pond that's outside of that too. So you could have a pond dam going on there, plus you got the river channel swinging by it. I mean, that's a very high percentage area to go find some fish. Let's keep moving down. Actually, before we do that, I'm gonna pull back, show you where I'm at. I'm up here now. Those little islands were right up in here. You can see them all right here on my screen. What we're gonna do is we're gonna keep kind of coming down from those two islands we talked about. We're gonna go down here and we're gonna talk about this little section right here. So on this one has lots of the little interesting spots. One over here to the left, you've got a nice little point that comes out. Has some break. This island has some really sharp breaks off of it as well. And then if you look at the outer, or the inside right here on the east side of that island, you've actually got a creek channel swing coming up and touching that. So this right in here, like either over here off this point or the back side of that island, the inside, whatever you want to call it, that part of the island would be a higher percentage area. Also right over here, you've got this island. You want to fish more towards the river channel. And then if you look right here, it's kind of hidden in here, but it looks like there's a dock right here. And this dock is right on the river channel, meaning that that is a primo dock to be fishing. So whoever owns that, I'm sorry, but that where you put your dock at is just about perfect. As we move further over here, just kind of following the river channel, you've got the outside of this island, right? This whole side's gonna be good. You've also got this whole side that's gonna be good as well of this island in here. So you've got some really good stuff going on in that area. And then let's move on down a little bit more. Let's take a look at, see what else we have out here. You know, there is a little spot up here. It's kind of hidden, so I did mark it, but there's a hump that's out here. So you got to figure this stuff's going to get pounded. For the most part, these things are going to get pounded. I should have even put a mark right here because that creek channel's swinging right here. But try these as well. Try the ones that are off the beaten path a little bit. Maybe these fish are getting pressured too much. They may pull back here to this hump, or there's even a hump out here at 18 foot that comes up 11 foot, and it's kind of off the beaten path, but close enough to all these river channels and creek channels that they could get over to them pretty quickly. So maybe check those out as well. But definitely, anytime you see this river channel touching something or doing something like this pinch point right here between these islands, those are going to be good spots to look. Right here where it swings, hits it right here. And then as we move down, we take a look out here. This is not an island. It probably is an island now with the water being down, but in full pool, it's not an island. It's 2 foot under. But right here, I mean, really good spot. Really, really good spot to go take a look at. All right, so I'm going to pull back, kind of show you guys where I'm at. This is where we were just a minute ago. We're going to come down here, and now we're down here by this ramp that's down here. We're going to zoom in and take a look and see what's down here. So as you can see here, we've got a pretty good ledge going on right off the edge of this point. And there's also a nice little saddle, like almost a saddle. I guess I'll call it a saddle between that island and that point. So right in there is going to be really good as well. And then if you look down here, you've got another island. This island actually comes out and makes a point. And off the edge of that point, you've got some pretty good ledges. So right in there would be a really good spot. But if you're fishing that island too, you may want to swing back, take a look at the backside too, and just see if there's any bait back here because that creek bed is fairly close to it. Okay, so we're going to move on over. Now we're getting back in here to the corner. Almost done with the lake. This thing's not too big. But as you come over here, again, this is with the water at full pool. You've got a pretty good ledge going on right here. May still be there. The water's pretty low right now, so this may still be there. But if not, that would be a good spot to look when the water does go back up. And then as we come over here, we've got same type thing, right? You've got these little islands that are out here. This is not showing this an island, but I'm sure it is now. But you've got a really good ledge just right off the tip of it. And you got a pretty good creek bed coming through here too. So this little area right in here, you know, looks, this whole area looks pretty promising. You have to do a lot of scanning and stuff and scan around the islands and things like that, but looks pretty promising. Now, if we move out, we already talked about that spot and that spot. If we move out here more main lake before we go back in here to the corner, there's some really good stuff that's out here as well. Let's go out here first. So as we get out here, not sure if this will be visible enough right now, but it's definitely going to be like a really rocky area. And that's going to be a spot that you could Carolina rig around. As long as it's not too rocky, you could throw swim baits. There's all kinds of good stuff. You could throw jigs. This is going to be a really good offshore spot to go take a look at. Not just fishing around the hump, but kind of fishing on the outside edges of it right in here, closer towards that creek channel. You've also got another hump that's out here as well you could go take a look at. That's getting way out there, way deep, but hey, why not? And then over here off the edge of this point too, this point's got a lot of action going on. This little hump right here has got this creek bed. That's why I picked it. This one's got the river channel. That's why I picked it. This one's got it as well. This one's got the creek bed fairly close to it. It's more over in here, but really good looking point. So if they're not here, you know, just kind of move up and scan right around in this area and stuff like that. See what you can find. All right, so we're going to move on back. Show you guys where we are. I think we got like 3 more spots to point out here. So over here, as you come over here off of this south side park, this boat ramp, you come down, you got this flooded timber that comes over here off this point. I really like this. This looks like the creek bed comes in and swings a little bit into the edge of this point. So you might have some debris and stuff like that. This could be a higher percentage area just right there in that spot. And then as you move down here and you follow this creek bed here, again, making that swing, right? Hitting that bank line and creating those good areas to really find food, pinch points, stuff like that, all that good stuff. That is going to be a good spot to look at. And then over here, this point comes off, kind of the same thing, really close to that creek bed. So something you'd want to take a look at. All right, guys, so that wraps us up for LBJ. or not LBJ, Lake JB Thomas. LBJ is a totally different lake and about 10 times the size. But that wraps us up for Lake JB Thomas. If you missed the Google Earth video, just go out and look at our lake breakdown playlist. You'll see the Google Earth video out there for this one. And don't forget, go out to our site, simplisticfishing.com, and pick up your waypoints. You just take those points, we put them on a card for you, put them into your graph, and you're good to go. Until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.